What up?
Hey everybody, this is Steve Felicetti, SJF Graphic Arts, and you're watching an episode of Shut Up and Color. So, a lot of developing stories going on. It's been a busy week. Some good, some bad news. But what I wanted to kind of walk you through today is because you're going to deal with this kind of stuff. You decide to do be a freelance artist yourself, or really any kind of business aspect. You're selling a product. You're going to run into complications along the way with customers and things like that. And so I thought I'd bring you into the loop on this and share with you kind of my experience so far with it. And I've already made one video about this, explaining what the guy wanted and what I had basically generated from our conversation to offer him. I think we were waiting for a response. Well, we got a response. So here's how it went down, and I'll pull this up real quick and show you guys, kind of bring you back up to speed. If you missed the last video, you might want to go back and watch it after or whatever, if you want to be totally in the loop on what happened here. But this is interesting, and I think it's useful information, so I wanted to share it with you. All right, so I guess it's recording now. All right, so when we last left you, I was showing you what I had done for the guy who owns the company Eosso Brothers, and had the military experience before he went into civilian workforce and started his own business, and got pretty successful from some of the things that he learned from being in the service. And this picture here is what I had put together based on our conversation. We talked about the old Tom, the service member, as a soldier. He was a specialist when he got out. And his experience, he came in as a tanker, but then he went into the reserves as an engineer, spent some years in the reserves, and then he got out and started his business, probably a little bit ways down the road maybe, but now he runs a successful business called Eosso Brothers Paving. And so we wanted to kind of capture all of that, right? We wanted to capture the experience of him, using his experience from the Army to transition into being the owner and operator of his own company. With some of that knowledge and experience that he gained in the Army, giving him a boost in life, kind of thing. That was kind of the whole theme around this. And I sent it to him, and he liked it. He had some comments, like he had a picture of a bulldozer, which he hadn't shared with me before, that from his company, and he wanted to put the bulldozers back to back. So no problem, we'll do that. And then the other thing he had said was, we kind of discussed the shirt as opposed to the suit. I told him, that I kind of thought the suit was a good idea. He felt the same way. I just went with the shirt because this was the only picture he had with his arms folded, but I was going to bring that up in our conversation somewhere and say, hey man, would you rather be in a suit in this picture? So that came out, and we went ahead and took care of that. So here's what we came back with. This is him in his suit. He could have his arms folded, but you're really going to fold your arms like that in a suit? probably not. So I think this picture here is just fine the way it is. I don't really got to adjust it any or whatever. So when I paint it, I'll just paint it exactly how I see it here. And we added the bulldozer, as you can see. I put a little block down here so he knows where my signature's going. And everything was going good, and I got a thumbs up. Hey, and, so next we had to negotiate the price, right? So I figured this being around 100 hours of work easily, just by the amount of stuff that I got to do in this painting. 100 hours is probably being conservative, be honest with you. So I came in at a pretty good number, and this happens. It's going to happen again, I'm sure. It's all a matter of how you value your money and where you want to put your money. And I don't hold it against anybody. If they decide that they don't want to spend that kind of money on something intangible, something that they don't necessarily need, it would just be nice to have kind of thing. And that's what I sell. So I have to kind of back off on that. And sometimes it can be tough because it's kind of a thorn in your side. So anyway, so we had some conflict there. The number I threw at him was too high. He was like, that's way too high. Well, he didn't say way too high. He said, I wasn't planning on spending that much. I asked him how much he was planning on spending, and he told me how much he was planning on spending. And that was way low for the amount of work that would have to be done on this picture. And so we were at a crossroads there. Because I wasn't really willing to go down to his number, and he wasn't really willing to come up to my number. So what I did, I dropped my number a little bit to see if he would meet me. He wasn't doing that. So what I did was I let cooler heads prevail, and I just said, you know what? Let's not talk about this tonight. You think it over. You think over the offer I gave you, and I'll get back with you tomorrow night, and maybe we can come to an agreement. And he said, okay, thank you. And I did this for two reasons. One, it had already you could already feel the friction even on a text message. I'm still texting this guy, for Christ's sakes. Yeah, he still hasn't, I don't know if it's just he didn't think about it or whatever, but I'm not going to call somebody if I don't feel like they've invited me to, they haven't invited me to call them. Especially they're home at night, but after a day's work and stuff like that. I don't want to be that kind of person. So he had never really given me his number or a time that was convenient for me to call him. So I'm assuming he doesn't really talk. He don't want to talk on the phone. So that's fine. I can negotiate however I need to. I'm just as good at typing as I am at speaking. Well, hopefully I'm better. Anyway, so I backed out, and like I said, it's for two reasons. One, because I didn't see us coming to an agreement on this picture the way it was, and I needed to come up with a better idea. Basically, I needed to come up with some way. I kind of gave him the opportunity to kind of think it over, think about what I said about this picture and the time it's going to take to do and things like that, and see if he could kind of come to a reason and say, hey, yeah, you know what, that's probably about right. Because it's not an outrageous cost, but it's a fair price. Probably a little more than fair, actually. So that was one. And then the other reason was I needed to come up with an idea. I don't want to lose the sale necessarily. I've already put a lot of time into this. I've already put several hours into this, coming up with this concept, moving pictures around and just, filling in the blank space and stuff and making it look like a complete picture and all that. And, that stuff takes time too. Even though nothing on there is am I going to use that's actually on the file right now, if you would. I'm going to recreate everything, but I still had to give him some kind of idea, and I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time drawing it out or painting it or whatever, and then just for him to say, that's not what I had in mind, or let's do something different or whatever, right? So this is kind of the easiest way to do it. Just take the pictures and kind of cut and paste and move them around, put them where you need to go, and kind of gives you an idea. And I talked about this in my last video, so I'm not going to keep on harping on it anymore. But anyway, so what I did was I contacted him again last night, asked him if it was a good time. I didn't get any answer, right? So I'm like, okay. And I could see that he read the message, I could see if somebody's read the message. So I said, well, just get back to me when you have a chance, right? I didn't hear back from him all last night. I kind of knew I wouldn't. I'm losing this guy, right? As a customer, I can kind of feel it. He's backing out on the deal. I'm not sure why. I mean, I'm willing to work with anybody and come to a compromise. But for whatever reason, he's not interested at this point. I don't think. I can kind of feel the vibes on the other, even though I'm not talking to him, but I can kind of read it in the air. So I just left him alone last night. I didn't bother. I don't want to badger anybody, but I got a mission too, right? I got a job I'm trying to do. So I got to get closure on these things, or I'm not going to waste my whole week trying to figure out whether or not this is going to be a feasible job for me to do, right? So what I did was what I thought of, and I'm like, okay, well, so he won't meet me at the number that we wanted, that I offered, and I'm not willing to do any less than that, or take any less than that for the amount of work that I have to do. So I'll just reduce the amount of work that I'm going to have to do down to where the number that he's comfortable at. So that's what I did. So I came up with a new plan, and I'll show you what it looks like. This is it right here. So as you see from the old one, right, I took his former self out. I moved some of the equipment around. I removed some of the equipment, kind of made it bigger. Instead of having a picture of his former self, he's in each one of these pictures, from when he was in the Army. So, it kind of still meets the goal. I mean, I'm not, I don't do shabby work, right? Like, I gotta like it myself before I'm gonna try to sell it to a customer. And my name's on it, so somebody's gonna see it and they're gonna be like, oh, well, okay, so that guy did that. They're gonna base an opinion off of that work of who I am as an artist, right? And I want that opinion to be a good one. So I'm trying to figure out a way that I can still do this job for this guy, still accomplish the mission of the then and now mission, right? Of this is how it was. This is what happened then that brought me to where I am now, right? Or helped me get to where I am now. So I'm simplifying the concept, so it'll be a little easier for me to do. It won't take quite as much time, and hopefully we can all be comfortable with it. And I had to do a few things for that. We were here, and now we're here, right? So I sent that to him tonight. I haven't heard back. I don't know if he's thinking it over. I don't know if he was never serious in the first place. I don't know if he just decided he doesn't want it for whatever reason. But when I find out, I'll let you know. Thanks for watching. Shut up!